In this project, I created the contact book for project 2, and the first file I created was contact as a class, and it will represent the contact. And then for my first function, it will represent the contacts, which is basically the contact. When a new object is created, it shows the user's information inside right here, the objects, and then its attributes, the name, phone, and email. And then for my second function, it will display the contacts. So the method will the contact information, so that is in a readable format instead of like repeating print statements. I keep this inside the class contact. And then for my dictionary, since the JSON file cannot store Python objects, this method will convert the contact object into a dictionary. So that name, phone, email. And for my second file, the hardest one to create, the file manager, which will save the contacts as a list. It will import the JSON file right here, contact.json. I already have one in there for testing. And I use the try and exempt to as a file leader, so that it will save, and then it will print error, saving contacts if it doesn't work. And then here for my load, it basically like loads. It shows you the contacts from the JSON file, all the contacts that you have in here. Pretty simple. And then here for my JSON, I use the exception handling to prevent the program from crashing, so that if the JSON file does not exist, the program starts with an empty contact. And then for here, this will handle where the JSON file, if it's corrupted or if it has like data that's an empty or invalid. The third file I created was the contact manager, which will basically import the contact class from contact.py and the file manager that saves contacts and load contacts. And then you will create your class contact manager, which will create an empty contact list and loads and saved contacts right here. And then for my second function, it will create a new contact and add it to the contact list, name, phone, new contact, and then the append function, and then it will save it when you add. And then for the third one, it will display all the contacts that you added. And then if the contact is not found, it will say no contacts found if there's no contacts in the JSON file, and else the contacts will print if the contact is actually in the JSON file. And then here, this function, it will save all the contacts into the JSON file, just like it works. And here it will load. And finally, for my main.py, it would import the class contact manager from contact manager, and I will assign manager for contact manager, which gives the program access to adding, displaying, and saving, loading all the contacts. And then I'll put my thing in a while function. It will print the contact book, and then your three options choice, input one option, and then if they choose one, it will print their name, phone, and number. And then if they choose to, it will display the contacts that's currently in their JSON file. And 3, it will say goodbye. Or if they don't click anything, it will say please try again. Finally, for my test, I imported the Unitest module, which provides tools for creating the tests. Then I put my contact list right here. And then I created a class test contact, inherits from the unitest.test right here, unitest.test case, and then which gives my class access to using methods like assert function. And then if you run it, it should work, yes. And then for here, it will show the result, the name, phone, and run, just to make sure compress the value and then that's stored, and then the expected value that you will get. And then if we run our program, we could choose a contact, add contact, and then enter our name, phone number. I'll just create one, in our email, create an email as well, and we should see in our, yep, there you go, it added in our JSON, so the program runs perfectly fine. Here, this is our presentation. The contact book project used Python, and I'll basically explain the project overview. It's an application that allows a user to add and view their contacts, and then it will store information using JSON and build concepts from the Python course that we uses the features, which we already explained, and then it will test. Pretty simple. And then our structure was, we split it into files, different files, just to keep it clean and all of that. And the concept we use from chapters 8 to 11 right here, JSON, and then testing. And then the improvement that I would really like to add is a search feature, so that you can search for your contacts, and option to edit and delete the current contacts that you have, and then allow users to store more information, and then add pictures for better program view in general. And then the challenges that I really went through creating the project was the project kept breaking when I write it, and that's why I put in multiple files to organize it pretty easily. The JSON storage was pretty simple as well, and then watch YouTube videos on how to really separate. I learned a lot from them. Yeah, and then the challenges I faced as well on the different parts of the project was understanding how each file can connect with each other, how the file manager connects with the JSON file and the contact.py, and the file manager can be pulled from the contact manager.py, and then learning how objects connect, and then fixing the JSON error that when I first tried to run the program, it kept on giving error on the JSON. So that was all. Thank you.